ගැන සම්බන්ධ මාත්‍යා කිව්වා අපි හැම පක්ෂයත් එක්කම සාකච්ඡා කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ ඔබතුමා කියපු කරුණු ගැන නෙවෙයි පොදුවෙන් මේ රටේ ඇති වෙන්න ඕන දේශපාලන විසඳීම ගැන අපි හැම කෙනාත් එක්කම සාකච්ඡා කරලා තියෙනවා. මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහතාත් එක්ක විශේෂයෙන්ම එකඟතාවයක් මොනවත් නැහැ. දේශපාලන විසඳීමක් සඳහා එකඟතාවයක් නැහැ. කඳවුරු ඉවත් කරන කරුණු සම්බන්ධයෙන්ුත් එකඟතාවයක් මොනවත් ලැබෙත් නැහැ. අපේ තීරණය පැහැදිලිව අපේ ප්‍රකාශය අපි කියලා තියෙන්නේ මුළු රටේ තියෙන තත්වය අපි සලකා බලා මේ තීරණය අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය නැවත නිර්මාණය කරන්න ඕනේ කියන පදනම තමයි අපිට මුලින්ම ඕන වෙලා තියෙන පළමු කාරණය. ඒ නිසා මේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ වාතාවරණයක් ඇති කරාට පස්සේ අපි කාත් එක්ක හරි සාකච්ඡාව පවත්වන්නට
it will be much easier after that.
ඒව ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාද වාතාවරණයක් තිබුණොත් හැම එකනම සාකච්ඡා කරන්නට සුදුසු අවස්ථාවක් ලබන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා තමයි අපේ ප්‍රධාන කාරණාව ගැන කියලා අපි කියලා තියෙන්නේ ඒ වාගේ වාතාවරණයකට මේ රට නැවත යන්න ඕනේ. ඒක අපිට විතරක් නෙවෙයි මේ රටේ ජීවත් වන හැම ජන කොටසටම අදාළ ප්‍රශ්නයක්. වැදගත් ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒ නිසා රට වෙනුවෙන් තමයි ප්‍රධානව අපි මේ තීරණය අරන් තියෙන්නේ.
We want to make it very clear that the position of the Tamil National Alliance is that the national question cannot be resolved through backdoor deals.
අපි දොරට පිටිපස්සේ මේ ජාතික ප්‍රශ්නයට විසඳීමක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරන්නේ නැහැ.
That is not possible.
ඒක වෙන්නම නැහැ.
And we are not prepared to go down that path.
අපි සූදානම් නැහැ ඒ වගේ එකඟවීමට නැත්නම් views වලට ඇති කරලා මේක විසඳීමක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් කියලා.
Our position is that the whole country must know what is happening. And there must be a solution based upon such a position which the whole country is prepared to accept.
මුළු රටටම එළිදරව් වෙන්න ඕනේ මොනවද මේ විසඳීම ගැන මොනවද සාකච්ඡා තියෙන බව ඒ වාගේ වාතාවරණයකට තමයි අපි සූදානම්. මේ අපේ ජාතික ප්‍රශ්නයට විසඳීමක් හොයන්න කියලා අපි කියන්නේ ඒක දෙමළ ජනතාවට විතරක් නෙවෙයි මේ රටේ ජීවත් වෙන හැම කෙනාටම acceptable පිළිගන්න පුළුවන් විසඳීමක් තමයි අපි හොයන්නේ. අපි ඒ වාගේ විසඳීමකට තමයි උත්සාහ කරන්නේ. ඒ නිසා දොරට පිටිපස්සේ කාත් එක්ක හරි සාකච්ඡා කරලා මේකට විසඳීමක් හොයන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරන්නේ නැහැ.
We are committed to a peaceful and honorable and permanent solution within the framework of a united, undivided Sri Lanka. A solution that will be just, that will be reasonable, that will be workable, and that will be durable. And I think this is something which the whole country must accept. And we will only work to achieve such a solution.
හැම ජන කොටසටම සාධාරණයක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. හැම එකනම ඒක පිළිගන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම නැතුවත් ඒක හිටින්න බෑ. ඒක හුඟක්කල් ඒක රටේ it won't last. ඒ නිසා අපි කරන සාකච්ඡා අපි හොයන විසඳීමක් ඒ වගේ හැම එකනාටම සාධාරණත්වය ගේන්න පුළුවන් විසඳීමක් තමයි අපි හොයන්නේ. නොබෙදෙනු රට තුල මේවා ඒ වගේ විසඳීමක් හොයන්න පුළුවන් කියලා අපි විශ්වාස කරනවා ඒකමයි අපේ ස්ථාවරය.
And we are confident.
ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ
One moment. And we are confident that all the people of this country, irrespective whether they are Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims or anybody else, will be prepared to go along with such a solution. We have discussed questions relating to a political solution with all political leaders. We have discussed it with President Mahinda Rajapaksa. We have discussed it at bilateral meetings we have had with persons appointed by him. That's a continuing process.
But in terms of making a crucial decision, in terms of 400 to 500,000 voters, when making this decision, how did you come to this last point about setting support to Maithripala Sirisena?
Well, I must tell you very frankly that we have not come to any understanding with anybody. We did not expect to come to any understanding with anybody. We have talked to President Rajapaksa over 10 years, particularly since 2010. We have been engaged in very serious bilateral talks. We are aware of the position. So, as I told you before, the evolution of a political solution is a continuing process. This is something we are engaged in. And given all the circumstances, we think that the election of a new president could be a positive step towards the evolution of such a political solution. You see, the JHU was with President Mahinda Rajapaksa for a long time. President Mahinda Rajapaksa invited us for negotiations, and we negotiated with President Mahinda Rajapaksa's government when the JHU was still with him. So I don't see any reason why we should not negotiate with Mr. Maithripala Sirisena, for the simple reason that the JHU is here. And as far as we are concerned, we are prepared to even negotiate with the JHU. We don't reject any political formation. We would like to work with every political formation to ensure that we are able to achieve a solution that would be in the best interest of the whole country and also our people. That's our position.
Mr. Samanathan, Mr. Samanathan, in Sinhalese, about you had a resounding victory in 2013 in the Northern Provincial Council. So can you provide the same support to Maithripala Sirisena by having about 60% of the people voting for him? So the voter turnout would be the crucial thing.
I would not like to answer speculative questions. I do agree with you that when the Northern Provincial Council election took place, the people enthusiastically participated. They participated enthusiastically because they thought that the provincial government would be able to provide them with relief in many areas. Very unfortunately, the provincial government has been prevented by President Mahinda Rajapaksa and his government from performing their functions as effectively as they should have. done and should have been able to do. Our people are people who would have observed all these things. And we would request our people to vote at the election even more enthusiastically than they voted at the provincial council election in the northern province in 2013.
Mr. Samananda, in the event of a victory for Mr. Maithripala Sirisena, do you intend to take up any ministerial portfolios in the national unity government that he proposes?
That is not in contemplation now. That is not something that we have addressed our mind to. First, the presidential election must be over. Everything else needs to be considered only after the presidential election is over.
Yes.
A little louder if you don't mind.
ඔබතුමා කිව්වා අපෝගේ අවුරුදු 10යි ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ සහ එම පක්ෂයේ කටයුතු ගැන බලලයි තීරණයක් ගන්න කියලා. එහෙම කියලා විශේෂයෙන් කිව්වා පහුගිය අවුරුදු 7-5 තත්ත්වය ගැන ඔබතුමාලා බොහොම හොඳින් කිව්වා කියලා. සමහරවිට ඒ වගේ තීරණයක් මේ විදිහට ගන්නකොට ඔබතුමාලාගේ පක්ෂය ගැන ඔබතුමාලා හිතලා බලන්න. ඔබතුමාලා 2001 දී දෙපිට සංවිධානයේ ගල්ලේ ජනතාවගේ එකම නියෝජිතය කියලා පස්සේ 2005 දී දෙමළ ජනතාවට ගල්ලේ භාෂාව කතා කරන ජනතාවට કોઈ සංවිධානය ඉපයි කියලා. ඊවල තරගයේදී දෙන්න සරත් පොන්සේක සංවිධානය. ඉතින් කියනවා නැගොම්පන්ට හදලා. ඔබතුමාලාගේ පක්ෂය ගැන හිතුවද? ඔබතුමාලාගේ පක්ෂය ඇතුළු විදිය අනුව ඊට යම් කිසි තත්ත්වයක් උදාවනවා.
I'm thankful to you for your question. It's a good question. Nothing is static in this world. Everything keeps changing. And when there was operational in this country, an organization like the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Nadu, were a very, very hard, ruthless militant organization. The situation in this country was different. But with that organization ceasing to exist, a new situation has come about in this country, where everybody is freer to act and to take decisions.
Even you.
Including us?
Yeah.
Including everybody. Including even the government. Including even the opposition parties. Including everyone. Well, in 2001, both the government and the opposition wanted to negotiate with the LTTE. They only wanted to negotiate with the LTTE. So in that context, the LTTE had a certain importance, and the Tamil people entrusted the responsibility of conducting negotiations to the LTTE. In 2005, it was the LTTE which called upon the Tamil people to boycott. The Tamil people didn't vote. To be quite honest with you, I want to be very frank with you, there was not much of a role that we could have played, because the people would not have defied the LTTE and come out to vote. fact, one might say that President Mahinda Rajapaksa was victorious as a result of the boycott. I don't want to go into that question anymore, but there are stories about how that boycott was engineered, which you must be aware of, which we have heard about. So you see, we have to make decisions based upon what has happened in the past, what the present situation is, and what the future could be. We have to make decisions. We have to move along. The Tamil people in the north and east particularly have reposed their confidence in us and elected us as their legitimate representatives. We cannot abdicate that responsibility. We have to make decisions on their behalf.
Sir, USP former...
You see, the point is, this country has undergone some very serious changes. We do not have an armed conflict in this country any longer. There is an environment that is conducive to peaceful and honorable resolution of the conflict. The present government and the present president have not been able to utilize their environment to achieve that purpose. So in a situation where the present government and the present president have not utilized that environment, have not made use of that opportunity. On the contrary, they have displayed a desire to delay and to avoid using their opportunity. We think that a senior, respected, experienced politician like Mr. Maithripala Sirisena should be given the opportunity to address that question in a manner that will be acceptable to all the people of this country. Political solution. A government that failed on several fronts in regard to democracy, in regard to the supremacy of parliament, in regard to the independence of the judiciary, in regard to bribery and corruption, in regard to the media. Mr. Maithripala Sirisena has broken away from the government for these reasons. Therefore, we think we should repose our faith in him.
ඒක කිව්වේ මැතිවරණයක් ආවොත් ඒ මැතිවරණයේ කොහොමද අපි කටයුතු කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා ජනතාව දේශපාලන පක්ෂ හැම එකනම තීරණයක් ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ තීරණය ගන්නට හේතු කියනවා. ඒ හේතු මත ඒ තීරණය ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒක සාර්ථක වෙන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් අසාර්ථක වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. අසාර්ථක වුණොත් ඒ වුණාට පස්සේ තමයි අපි කල්පනා කරන්න ඕනේ මින් ඉදිරියට කොහොමද කටයුතු කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා.
But we are confident that all the people of this country will, in the interest of this country, take a decision that will be good for this country and will elect Mr. Maithripala Sirisena as their president.
එනමුත් අපේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මේ රටේ ජීවත් වෙන හැම ප්‍රවැසියාම රටට හොඳ දෙයක් හිතලා මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහතාට තමන්ගේ ඡන්දය දෙනවා කියලා අපි බලාපොරොත්තු.
Thank you very much. And after very earnest and deep consultations amongst ourselves, we have arrived at a decision which I shall announce shortly. We are issuing a statement on this occasion detailing briefly the reasons on the basis of which we are taking this decision, and copies of that statement in Sinhala, Tamil and English will be distributed to you shortly after I make the announcement. And we shall be grateful if you will kindly look at that statement in the 3 languages. And if you desire to pose any questions to me after you have looked at the statement, I'll consider it a great pleasure to answer whatever questions you pose to me. Our decision taken unanimously after earnest consultation with our people, both in the north and the east and the rest of the country, is that the Tamil National Alliance will, at the forthcoming presidential election, extend its fullest support to the joint opposition candidate, Mr. Maitripala Sirisena. After Mr. Sumandran has given you the Sinhala version of what I have just told you, I will give you the Tamil version, and thereafter we will make available to you copies of the statement.